Hi guys, welcome back to Angel's Corner. Mm, y'all know what we do over here. I share lessons that God is teaching me in my life, hoping that the lessons that I endured, you don't have to endure through experience. You could just learn and get wisdom and understanding that way. This year has been such a trying year for me, y'all. I mean, trials, tribulations, trials, tribulations, trials, tribulations. But, you know, I'm so grateful though, because it's shaping me and molding me and just making me a better woman, a better person. Also, if y'all didn't know, my birthday, I turned 26 a few days ago. What day is it today? The 21st. I turned 26 on the 13th, y'all. I'm getting old. But I gotta stop saying I'm getting old, because every time I tell somebody that, they're like, no, you're still young. But yeah, 26 is kind of crazy. Like, 26 is kind of crazy. Something I've learned is that when you are too married to your idea about how the unraveling of your story is gonna be, you will often end up disappointed. The reason why you can end up disappointed is because your feet are walking and your eyes are seeing things that are in contradiction with what is sitting in your heart and your mind, because the only things that you've chosen to store up in your heart and store up in your mind is your fantasy, your ideas about all the things that are gonna happen. And so when you're walking and you're like, well, God ain't do this, or I didn't expect this happen, or I didn't expect this particular suffering, or I didn't expect this person to leave me in the journey, I didn't expect da 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 da, it's because you're literally, you create this assumption that the path of God is the path of you, and they're two separate things. God is his own entity with his own mind and with his own way and path and story for you. So when you choose to walk in the ways of God, then you're choosing to deny your way. Two things I would say you should keep in your heart and in your mind is God's character and God's promises towards you. Okay? So if you're going and you're walking down this path that God has set before you, if the things that you're dwelling on, the things that you are choosing to meditate on in your mind, and the things that you're choosing to keep as true in your heart, it gotta be in your mind and your heart, y'all. It can't just be like one or the other. Like, things have to, because it's one thing to know something, it's another thing to believe something. Belief is in your heart, knowing is in your mind, you know? And those are the things that you store up in your heart and in your mind. That is when you will receive peace that surpasses all understanding. We are creatures that are bound by time. We can only ever be where our feet are. In fact, if we think about the past too much, if our mind and our hearts are in the past too much, we end up depressed. If our hearts and our minds are in the future too much, we end up anxious and having anxiety. The only time that we can ever be in a peaceful state, really, is if in a full peaceful state, is if our feet and our mind and our hearts are planted where we are. And then you add on top of that, if you want to get peace that surpasses understanding, is when you download in your heart and download in your mind the two realities of God's character and his promises towards you. God sits outside of time, and so he's constantly seeing the past, the present, and the future all happening at the same time. So the way that he's thinking about things, the way that he's calculating things, the way that he's maneuvering and structuring your life, the way that he's choosing to strip you and elevate you, the way that he's choosing to be a father to you, to be a friend to you, is with intention, but with an understanding that is beyond even yours, you know, that is beyond your limited little human mind that is only here in the now. If you're trying to gain peace about where God has your feet, where God has you, especially if you're like suffering and you losing money, you losing friends, you're losing your mind, honestly, in a way, you're losing yourself, and you weren't expecting any of it, or you weren't expecting it because you thought that God was just gonna place your feet on the ground and elevate you and you was never gonna have an issue again and all that. Be encouraged that God loves you, man. Like, God really does love you, bro. And he really does care for you, and he really is intentional about his work. Yeah. So I don't know, hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that was edifying to whoever it needed to edify, and encouraging to whoever it needed to encourage. I love you guys. I'm not gonna say I'll be back. I'm not, because I might and I might not. Y'all know how I be. Song of the day. Actually, I'm gonna say album. One, you can't even see. One by Jordan G. Welsh. Baby, that has helped me all year. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. If you concentrate on